This is the true story between the beef between Uncle Murda and Papoose. Now, you want to talk about a situation getting out of hand? This was it. Uncle Murda and Papoose wasn't even on each other's radar. Like this is a situation where it's like Papoose and Uncle Murda. Like how did this situation even come about? At the time, Papoose was one of the top prospects, period. You know, just out of nowhere, just start coming out lyrically attacking everything. And he was riding with G-Rap. And then he helped G-Rap with a couple of jams, you know, on his album. And people heard this dude Papoose and was like, oh, this dude Papoose got off on that track. So he started doing the Alphabet song he do, the Alphabet Assassin or something, and he gets the attention of K Slay. And K Slay put him on the show, and he did the Alphabet thing live on the show. They even made a video for it, you know, and it was ill. You know, he just started going through the letters, and he just murdered them. His delivery, the speed of his words, you know, he was just always on point, sharp mentally. Now, this has basically nothing to do with Uncle Murda at the time. So he signs him to the Street Sweeper Entertainment. K Slay did. Then K Slay at that time would violate a management at the time, Chris Lightly, you know, and violate. So they used to manage K Slay. And so they managed to get a deal with Clive Davis and talk to him about getting him signed with Jive. So they talked to Barry and all those dudes, and they got him a $1.5 million deal. Now, this is a guy who barely had a couple mixtapes. He just had such a crazy buzz. He actually got the Justo Mixtape Award in 05. So, I mean, Papoose was it. He was the top of the line at the time. So, for him, this was it. And then here's this guy, Uncle Murda. He's just another artist on the label at this point. And I forgot what was the reason, but K Slay saw something in the contract that didn't make sense. And said, whoa, wait a minute. He signed to Street Sweepers Entertainment. Why is it saying Violator and Jive with the points, you know, on the back end money? What about Street Sweepers Entertainment? And then it's like, oh, they're going to dissolve the money, and they were like, oh, well, we paying you the 1.5, that's going to be for Street Sweepers, and Street Sweepers basically is going to get dissolved on the back end money. You getting the money up front, basically. And that's not what they wanted to see, and what they were told, and what they agreed, and they tried to work it out. You know how people go into negotiations just saying, okay, no, this is not what it is. So tell Jive, you know, we'll work something out, but I need Street Sweepers involved, you know, and we'll work it out. You know, like they'll get back in contact with us. And then they went off in good faith. Like, okay, everything's everything. Chris told them, like, don't worry, we'll work it out. So they sent back the same deal. And he said, I talked to Barry and them, and they saying the same thing I just said. If you don't want to do it, you know, they gonna let you out. But here's the thing. When they signed the deal, they already had the songs. They had produced the songs already for the album. So they gave Jive Record the album. But they saying, look, we not finna go and promote this album. We not gonna be a part of it. If Street Sweepers is not finna get what they supposed to get, then we walking. So Violator is not gonna manage us no more. We gonna fire it and we'll go to job and do the deal on our own without Violator. He said that would be wrong. If we just gave you the deal up front and didn't give you any of the back end, you know, you would flip. So Chris is like, you wouldn't even have a deal if it wasn't for me. So it was getting to the point where Chris felt disrespected because they tried to go to Barry and do the deal without him. Like, that's okay, you know, it's done. So it got to a point where they said, you know what, we already got the album, we own it. Here, we done. Papoose was a victim of what K Slate did. Because now, K Slate album, Papoose debut, who everybody was waiting on, his album ain't dropped. The Nakarima Dream, which is American spelled backward, and that didn't come out, and everybody's like, what happened? What went down? You know, why Papoose album ain't come out? Now, Papoose claims he was able to keep the money, the 1.5, and they was to keep the album for so long before they would lose the rights to it, or he could buy it back for a certain price when it drops. Like, they ain't gonna want the album no more. So at this time, Chris Lightly gives the go-ahead for this guy that most people didn't know of at the time, Uncle Murda. And Uncle Murda just started attacking. Just come out with assault after assault after assault at none other than Papoose. And talking about how he ain't real, he ain't from the streets, these soft rappers, and he was basically coming after Papoose and naming him out and calling him out. Now, all of a sudden, he's on the radar, but when he wasn't before. So they're at a club performing at a show. I don't even think they were performing yet. And Papoose was there. And I'm trying to think what had happened. I know they saw each other and it wasn't no problems. Like, they saw each other, he was like, what up, what up? You know, Papoose was like, what up? Like, what is it? And they kept saying, GMG, GMG. And that was it. There was no pushing, there was no shoving. It was just all the loud talking. Nothing happened. Then it came back that in the media that, oh, Papoose mans got slapped up by Uncle Murda and them in the club. The GMG was in full effect. They put fear in Papoose and this and that. So that was out in the public and social media and all of this, and that never happened. They never slapped up Papoose, man. And what happened at they had the awards show, or some little party, it wasn't even an awards show, Wendy Williams was there, everybody seen the video where they said they jumped Uncle Murda. And it was Papoose, like, dudes was there. And they saw Uncle Murda, he was by himself, and one dude tried to swing on Uncle Murda. So Uncle Murda ran down the street, like he said, stopped, turned around, gripped up like he had the thing, and they broke out. But they thought he was finna blast. So he got away, no problem. The next thing you know, they did jump out on his mans. They jumped out of van, they got it on tape, and it's like Papoose is running down the streets while his man's getting whooped on. You know, now it's becoming a street problem. And it was getting out of hand because other people were strapping up like, we finna start busting shots at dudes and both sides. sending threats is going up. So K Slay called Chris Lightly and said, look, what you trying to do, man? You know, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? What are you trying to do? Just call off your dogs. Alright? We ain't coming at y'all. Don't y'all come at us, because we done. And Lightly didn't respond back to the message, and Uncle Murda got shot on some other street niche that didn't have nothing to do with this. He had got shot. So Papoose goes and make a song called Who Shot You? And put that song out. And this was a big problem, because it was like, oh my God, Uncle Murda he didn't know the situation with Uncle Murda. He just heard Uncle Murda got shot in the head. And see, then he's like, oh, okay, who shot you? He at the hospital. He basically taking credit for what happened, what he didn't do. And then Uncle Murda just came back with a hard track. My goodness, did he come back. See, Papoose lyrically is better. Lyrically, come on, that's not even fair to put him in there with Uncle Murda. But you ain't finna outstreet Uncle Murda. Nah, that's just what it is. Murda gets you. If you go to his level and try to battle him with a gangster, you ain't gonna out gangster Murda. It's just what it is. This is his realm. And Papoose is trying to out gangster him, and you gonna lose, because you in his arena. Man, yeah, I Ain't Dead was, oh my gosh, Uncle Murda just gave it to him. Niggas so pathetic. Lame ass dude who I got beef with trying to take credit. Like, I did a song, I shot Murda, but I ain't kill him song. So pathetic. Some lame ass nigga I got beef with trying to take credit. And that's what it was. And that looks bad when you try to take credit for something you didn't do. And try to get stripes off of it. That looks really pathetic. So that's not a good look. And what happened was, after it was all said and done, Lightly did hit K Slay up and say, it's going to be a problem, because the situation is only going to get worse. You know, and Uncle Murda was going to try to do a song with Remy Ma, and, you know, it was just going, and that wasn't finna jump. So just for him attempting to get Remy on the song, and you know, all this stuff was gonna create big problems, and they didn't want that. So it got squashed. They still don't like each other, but they just see each other. They go do their business. There's no conversations. So the beef was ended like that. But it was more about them being angry with Papoose and K Slay. And K Slay ended up hurting Papooses career as a rapper. As far as him having albums and getting his record out, the poor guy has been blackballed so bad, and he's one of the illest MCs in the game. You know, and can't get on. Like, lyrically, Cannabis can't hold a candle to him. Eminem can't hold a candle to him. I mean, there's some MCs that will get destroyed trying to battle Papoose. Lyrically, you will not. It's hard to hold a torch to a guy like that. Sharp off the brain. You know what I'm saying? Lyrically, it's very difficult. Like, Pun would beat him. But it would take somebody of that caliber to give him a go for his money and try to take him down like that. There's some MCs in the game that can give it to him, but they so off the radar that you wouldn't even know who they were. You know, a couple of West Coast cats would have gave it to him. You know, there's some guys out there that could really, really spit. They just not in the game because it's not a spitter's game no more. So they doing other stuff like video productions, and you be like, man, you into video production? Thought you was rapping. Like, dude, man, it ain't rap no more. Like, the greatest of all time right now is probably working at UPS. But I'm out, and I'm quite sure you can see all the videos of all the rap songs of Papoose versus Uncle Murda. They lived all that through YouTube. So they got New York popping though. We gotta give them both credit for that. If anybody wanted to keep New York rap on the map, those two going back and forth really was New York rap at the time, because 50 really was on some other thing, and at that time that was it. Everybody just got behind 50. Then when 50 came out and went, you know, he was battling everybody from New York. So it was definitely a division there, but they kept some New York rap alive while everybody was down south doing their thing. But anyway, I don't want to make this long, so I'm out.